Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So in today's review I'll show a very nice Porsche 911 993 RWB made by Street Warrior once again. But before we'll get into it, as you can notice, I've changed my background to a lot nicer, to a lot more detailed background, because before in my reviews I had the Nürburgring pad from the Turbo Pad series, which had a small chunk of a Nürburgring curve. However, it wasn't, let's say, as great if it comes for presenting models in a static form. And that's why I've got these two turbo pads from a very nice model car shop, and the link to these link to that shop I'll give in the description. But anyways, let's get started with the review, which today is going to be the Porsche from Street Warrior. That is right over here. As you can notice, this one doesn't have the blue box. I mean, it doesn't, because I already had to take it out of that box, because opening this specific 911 993 from that box was a really huge pain. It was this one, but taking it out would take way too long, so I decided to do that earlier on. And let's get straight into that model. So let's just take out this plastic cover. And here's the silver low tail variant Porsche 911 993 from Street Warrior. Now, one very important note that I need to give right over here is the fact that there are two different RWB Porsches if it comes for the 993 variant, which is the low tail variant, like this one, which has the lower spoiler, which basically has the smaller spoiler, as well as there's the high tail variant. Now, the high tail variant is basically the red Coca-Cola version that I already reviewed on my channel. And before I used to call it the double stacked spoiler variant. Now I know that you should call it high tail version. But let's take a look on this silver 993, and right out of the bat, here we've got this limited edition plaque, just like they did with any other car they release. Is it real? I have no clue, because these models are, I mean, they are pretty hard to get, but are these really as limited as it's described over here? I have no clue. I believe them partially that it may be a limited edition, because here it says 270 out of 499. But is it true? I don't know. Anyways, let's take a look on that Porsche. So here we've got some wide body kit from the RWB. We've got these wonderful screws molded in, as well as on the roof. Then we've got the front that says, "What the world needs now is raw." So I think it is a real livery, because Street Warrior likes to mess with people's minds by giving them mixed liveries to completely random cars, like I described in the previous Coca-Cola Porsche review that I made some time ago. But this one seems to be legit. Like, really, it looks very nice. We've got these 5-spoke rims in that gunmetal-like finish. We've got some aero kit right over here. The side fender, we've got a black spoiler with Pirelli logo. Then we've got this golden banner that says Rauwelt, and a license plate that also says Rauwelt, and a tow hook. And here is the exact same, just like on the other side. One thing which I am not really sure of how you should read is that side name over here, because normally you have these side names for each RWB, like Stella Artois or Rotana, but in that case I have no idea. Anyways, it does look very nice. We've got the double exhaust pipe, heavenly, and the red light bar. And here on the spoiler underneath, it says the exact same thing right over here, just like on the side. So it does look very nice. I do like this RWB. It feels like a legit model. But let me take the other Street Warrior for a second, because I do have it right next to me, which is the Coca-Cola variant. Give me a second. I'll just open it. And it's this one, which looks also quite nice. Like, I did make the review before. It has this Coca-Cola trademark all over the place, the RWB black banner. And now, about the limited edition plaque. On the silver one, it is said that it's 270 out of 499. Also, it's a carbon fiber base. But this one says it's limited edition 1 of 499. And the question is, and if anyone from Street Warrior sees this, is it really 1 of 499? Like, is it the very first version of this car, like first ever model? Because if I do have a first ever Coca-Cola variant, then I believe I'm lucky. But I'm not exactly sure. Anyways, I'll just compare these two very shortly because I don't want to make that video way too long. So here's the front view of these two Porsches. Here we've got the look from the roof. And here we've got the back of these models. Let me just show how mad these things look here and here. And here. Now, the one thing that I do notice right now is the fact that they did mount these models, like the exhaust pipes, a bit wrong. And to be honest, I understand that, because 1:64 is such a small, delicate scale that bringing these exhaust pipes into perfect position would be way too hard. Like, here we get the carbon fiber spoiler. Here we have plain black. And yeah. Here we've got, also now I noticed that here we've got gloss black details all over the car, and here we've got pure carbon fiber. So now time for some conclusion for the version, specifically for the silver variant one, which in my opinion looks really nice. Let me just change the lighting. There we go. So finally, should you get this 993 RWB? I think yes, and I'm really positive about it. I really like this Porsche. It looks very nice. And if it comes for the price, it is similar to the Coca-Cola variant, so it's very hard to tell how these will look later on with the pricing, because the thing is that limited edition RWBs, they go pretty high. Let's say if it comes for the value. I do have here an RWB from Hot Wheels, the white one, which already skyrocketed in value, but these ones are fairly new releases, so I highly doubt these will go even harder in value. But to be honest, I don't care. I really like with how these two look. Definitely nice display pieces, yeah. So my conclusion is absolutely recommended. So a great Porsche. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I see you in another video. Bye. Oh, and by the way, guys, I just ended the review, but I wanted to show one more thing. So I was looking through the 993 again, and there was a funny thing when I was reading the overall grammar of that box, because here it says Ghost Player Simulated Alloy Automobile Model. They simply misspelled model and they gave R instead of E. Like, that's not really a big mistake, but kind of funny. And now here is normal, and underneath it's also normal. So yeah, here there are no mistakes, but I mean that's just hilarious. If it comes for the Coca-Cola variant, on the other hand, you have nothing basically, because here it says nothing. So it's not nearly as funny, but it's a small Easter egg that I wanted to show you guys. So now I'll end. Bye.